Hey guys, this is the last major topic for Unit 1, and this video is about compositions of transformations. So you've actually learned everything you need to know in order to do these transformations. The only new information is that now we'll be doing two transformations in one problem. Here's an example so you can start to see what this looks like on the coordinate plane. So let's just pretend for a moment triangle 1 is our pre-image. It's the very first thing that we started with. And then triangle number 3 is our final image. It's what we ended with. So to go from triangle 1 to triangle 3, we can't just simply reflect or translate. We have to do more than one transformation. And we can see this middle triangle number 2 helps us get to our final image. So from 1 to 2, you can see this reflection over the line y equals x. So that's the very first thing that we're doing, reflect over the line y equals x. Now, once we're at triangle 2, from 2 to 3, this is a translation to the right 1 and then up 5. Okay? So this right here is how we would write out that composition of transformations. Whatever you do first comes after this little circle symbol. So you work your way backwards, kind of. So do this first and then do this second. Okay? This is one way that you could write the notation. I'm going to flip to my notebook and show you another way that you could also write the notation. Okay, so we got our title. I would jot down something like 2 or more transformations, or 2 plus, or more than one transformation. Here are the two ways that you could write out the notation. So the first one I just showed you with the little circle. I'm going to do it for this example. So let's say we have triangle ABC. We want to reflect over the y-axis first and then translate that image 3 units right and 2 units down. So I can do my notation the same way as I just showed you. So if this is the first thing that I'm doing, I'm first reflecting and then secondly I'm translating, then you want to start your notation. The reflection should be after the little circle. So I'm actually going to start writing the translation. So capital T for translate, 3 units right, 2 units down. I'm going to put my vector. 3 units right is a positive, 2 units down is a negative. So that's the last transformation I'm going to do. Then I put my little circle, and then I can do my notation for the reflection. So reflect over the y-axis, triangle ABC, and because we're now going to have 3 triangles, so we go ABC to A prime, B prime, C prime, and the final image is going to be triangle A double prime, B double prime, C double prime. That way we can distinguish between this triangle and the first image. So that's one way. The second way to use the notation is almost exactly the same, but instead of using this little circle symbol, we put in a second set of parentheses, like this. Oops, that looks like a 7. So one big set of parentheses around our first transformation. I would make a note in your notebook using either different colors or arrows or something that this is the first thing that you start with. Start here. And then second transformation would be here. Oops. Okay. So those are the two ways that you can use the notation to explain composition of transformations instead of having to write out this big long sentence. Alright, so now let's go ahead and try it for this example. So just like our previous videos, if you need to go ahead and put some graph paper in your binder, you can go ahead and do that. So the first thing that we want to do is reflect over the y-axis. That's this one right here. So we are first reflecting over the y-axis. So A reflected over the y is going to be A prime. B reflected over my y-axis is going to be B prime. C to C prime. And then we connect those points. All right. After you've done that first reflection, now we're going to go to the second transformation. So I'm going to move every point 3 units to the right and 2 units down. So starting with A prime, 1, 2, 3 to the right, and 1, 2 down, A double prime. And do that for each point. So B, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Here's B prime, B double prime, excuse me. And then C, 1, 2, 3, 2 down, C double prime. So this one was kind of tricky because these triangles are all overlapping one another. Sometimes that will happen and you shouldn't feel like you're doing something wrong. As long as you're following the directions correctly, this can happen this way. And the last thing we would want to do is record our coordinates. So A double prime is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. B double prime and C double prime. Go ahead and get your coordinates for B double prime and C double prime. Okay, here is example 2, so I'll give you a moment to go ahead and write this down into your notebook. Hit play when you're ready to keep going. Following the same notation as that very first example I showed you, we have this little circle symbol. So again, that means we're going to start with anything that's after the circle first, and then secondly, once we have our image, we're going to do another transformation to get our final image. So I've recorded my coordinates for the pre-image, and we need to figure out what our double prime points would be. Alright, so here we go. First thing I want to do is rotate 90 degrees. And since that is a positive angle, I know that's going to be counterclockwise. That's going to be this way. So I'm going to turn my paper one time in the counterclockwise direction, and then I can record where those points should be located. So I'm going to turn. Good. Okay, don't worry about it being upside down or sideways. I'm just going to record. So T prime is going to be at 6, 3. I prime is going to be at 0, -2. And then P prime is going to be at 5, -4. So I've recorded where they should be. Now I'm going to turn my paper back to its original position and then plot these points. So do different colors. Stick to the red. So go ahead and plot your other image points and then hit play when you're ready to keep going. Okay, so I have my first transformation, which was my rotation, 90 degrees. Now I'm going to take my red triangle and reflect it, lowercase r stands for reflect. I'm going to reflect it over the y-axis. It's this one here. So t prime, which was 6, 3, is now going to become negative 6, 3. T double prime, negative 6, 3. I prime is on the y-axis, and that's interesting because there's nowhere for it to go. If it's right on the line of reflection, it's going to stay right on that line of reflection. So this is 0, negative 2. And since I prime has not moved its location, we're going to actually call our final image just I prime. This happens if it's on the line of reflection. So now you can see our final image in the blue triangle right here, and I've recorded my final image points. And this is how you would do composition of transformations. Alright, last one is example 3. I'm going to get you guys going, and then I think you can take it from here. So just a quick reminder, when you have two transformations, you either look for that little circle and start with the one after the circle, or if it gives you parentheses, go to the one inside the parentheses first. So first off, we're going to translate this triangle using this vector. So I'm going to move each point 4 units to the right and down 2. Here. So there is my first image, and then now I would want to rotate, because this is a capital R for rotate, this figure negative 180 degrees. So quick reminder about 180 degrees. Since that is 2 rotations, and there's a total of 4 on our corner plane, it does not actually matter if you go clockwise or counterclockwise for 180 degrees. So if you don't believe me, try it both ways. You should end up with the same thing, but I'm just gonna turn it 2 times to the right because it's negative, once and twice, and basically it's upside down, so I can record where my points should be. I'll record them over here. So T double prime should be at 0, negative 2. A double prime would be at negative 2. Seven. And then C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, negative 5. So our last step is to return back to the original way our paper was facing. Go ahead and plot those final image points, and then you are all set with this problem. Here's a quick little recap of the main ideas in this video. There's 2 different symbols to indicate composition of transformation. So that's with the little circle or with the parentheses. Both of them you read the same way. So you always start with the first thing on the right and work your way to the left. Points on a line of reflection do not move. So you do not need to label them with an additional prime if they are on the line of reflection and they stay there. And then lastly, we kind of talked about this in the rotation video. When you rotate 180 degrees positive, it is really the same thing as rotating negative 180 degrees because each one is 2 out of 4 rotations. So it's like going halfway. Okay? This concludes Unit 1, so you now have all the information you need to start preparing for your unit test. Good luck, and come and see me if you need some more help.